Hey, Matt at the cabin again, and welcome back. I'm in the woods. I'm in a pine forest, actually. So I'm going to take you guys on a walk through the pine forest in a second here. But this episode is going to be largely about the power of journaling in recovery and sobriety. So whenever I'm in the woods like this, whenever I'm going for a nice hike, I always have my journal right here. Mine connects to spirituality and nature. Yours can be kind of whatever you want. So let's get started. So I started journaling just recently because I joined a nutrition group online and ended up deciding to participate in that. And the leader of that group really challenged us all to do journaling. And so we've all kind of done that in different ways. And I didn't really see the power in it until I started doing it and writing down my thoughts. And then I started researching more and more about it. So I'm hoping I can share some of that with you guys this morning. And if we're lucky enough, there are a lot of deer in this area, so if I can find some, I'd be more than happy to show you some of those things. I'm already seeing a lot of deer rubs on the ground in front of me here, so we're gonna go uphill for a little bit and then it levels out nicely. It's a good walk. So stick with me till the end and hopefully you'll learn some really cool stuff. So first of all, the power of journaling or having a recovery journal is all about peace. It's about coming to peace with yourself and your decisions and being confident in those decisions and really valuing what you decide to do and to make it worth it. That's really the goal with all of these types of things. And if you write it down, kind of can become your reality, right? If you write things down, they become powerful, they become a little bit more true. And I'll give you some examples of things you can write down. So one is you can write down just your daily experiences and the ups and downs, the positives, the negatives. It's just a great way to be able to debrief what you believe and the progress that you're making. And, the positives and negatives are okay to write down. The other thing is that you can write down your emotional response to things. I've talked about that before. And if you write down your emotional response to things and you really take the time to then go further and discuss how you got through some of those things, you can be emotionally much more aware of your journey and your day-to-day things that you have going on. So right in front of me, there's a couple deer. I'm actually going to walk up here and then turn around. And if you can see them, they're laying down. I don't know how good you're going to be able to see them, but I'll give it my best shot. Just bear with me for 1 second. And I'm going to just kind of continue on. So I don't know if you can see them back there. Yeah, they're a little bit too far away. But that's okay. They're back there. So, you write it down. You have the ups and downs that you kind of take care of and you manage that. You kind of, instead of experiencing the emotions that you have on a day-to-day basis, the best part about journaling is you can think about it, right? It's called cognitive awareness. And you're not in the midst of all those emotions, whether it's anger, sadness, elation, frustration, withdrawal symptoms, whatever. When you write things out and you really recognize your emotions, then you're able to really think about those emotions and kind of pick through them. So you can kind of analyze them from outside looking in, almost as if you're being in someone else's shoes versus just straight up experiencing them and dealing with them on a day-to-day basis. I'm sorry if you didn't catch those deer, but that's okay. Another one is you can set goals, you can make a plan, you can track your progress towards those goals and that plan. And I always suggest get an old-fashioned journal. Don't sit in front of a computer and type away. That might work for some people. It certainly doesn't work for me. I need to be able to write down in pencil. It's more therapeutic for me, and hopefully, through your experimentation of doing different things like that, you'll find whatever works for you and you'll get after it that way. Another big plus about journaling is that there are a lot of positives in terms of your productivity. So I've done videos before on professional life and personal life, and one has to supplement the other. And in alcohol recovery and sobriety, that's even more important than ever. But there's Harvard studies that have come out and said that people who journal on a daily basis are about 25% more productive than their counterparts that might not journal. So that's pretty cool. I think that's something to be aware of. And I'm going to show you this quick because there are tons of trees in front of me that have stuff like this all over them. And that is from deer, male deer, bucks who are showing their territory to everybody else around them. And I try to point those things out just because it's just taking your time and finding some solitude and peace when you're out on a walk like I am. Your journaling can also help you become much more self-aware, and you have a focus on yourself each day to be able to move forward and also recall what's happened. And one thing I've tried to do recently is do one statement for the day, one sentence that boils down the day. And it's a challenge sometimes, but it makes you think about the day in general, and you really can prioritize your thoughts and focus on the one element of the day that you're most proud of, or the challenge that you got through, whether it's professional or personal or based on your relationships or whatever the case may be. Those are all really cool things. You're able to focus a lot more. You're able to manage your time much better when you do journaling, because you start to realize what you spend your time on and what you waste your time on. And it's a great way to be able to just think through, how do I want to set up my day? What are my goals for the day? Do I have things in place where I can really prioritize what I have in front of me for the day? And I think that's another key piece here to that as well. Your emotional intelligence about yourself and your triggers and what you feel and why you feel them will be a much bigger aspect of your recovery when you journal. I talk a lot about the anxiety, depression, drinking cycle, but if you're in recovery, you can really take stock of any anxieties or any depression in recovery, and then you can try to figure out what your cures are for those things. And also you can try to figure out what the triggers are for some of those things. And you can identify those as you write them down, and you may not notice them right away, but over time and with patterns, maybe you'll be able to. And then the last big thing about this is your creativity. Journaling allows you to be very creative and to write down whatever you want to write. There's no judgment. It's just for you. You don't have to share it with anybody else ever. You could do poetry. You can do short stories. It's totally whatever you'd like to do. You could have different topics. You could have a question of the day. You could focus on different steps of recovery. And then for me, the thing I'll close with about journaling is the spirituality piece. And, being in the right place spiritually is so important, because you take care of yourself, you can take care of others, and you can kind of pay it forward. You can pay it forward to the next person. You can pay it forward to the next group. And hopefully that's what these videos are doing a little bit. So I just wanted to focus a bit on the power of journaling. I think it's important. Grab a journal, make a journal, whatever. They're not that expensive. And I think you will really find the benefits from journaling. And I think those benefits are really gonna take stock over time, because really the goal is to be at peace and be comfortable with yourself and your decisions. And journaling is gonna allow you to do that 100%. So emotional intelligence, cognitive awareness, stability, solitude, time management, productivity, all of those things will start to come out in your life when you start to journal. Just give it 30 days. If you journal for 30 days, hopefully you will start to see some of that, and you can then assess if it's going to be good for you or not. But I like the power of journaling, especially in recovery. You can find recovery journals online. You can purchase them very easy with like pre-written topics and prompts and stuff like that, just to get you thinking about different things and get your head in the right place. And just a very cool way to focus on sobriety. So what I always do is I end with some helpful tips. I'm about 1,000 days into sobriety, which I've learned a lot of things along the way. But I think the one thing I've learned along the way the most that sticks out with me is you do it for yourself and you do it for those around you. And you do it because you want some emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual stability. And you want your eyes wide open and you want your mind clear. And those things are definitely going to be awesome, beautiful positives of the journey. So if you can do it on your own, awesome. If you need some help, always reach out for your local AA chapters, find an open meeting where everybody's welcome. You could do the meeting guide app to try to find some of those things. And there's a lot of other resources out there. You could find resources from the CDC. You could find resources about addiction and recovery. You can find resources from smartrecovery.com. But whatever you do, you're not alone. You can do it. So get after it. Stay positive about it, one day at a time. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. You'll make it work. Power of journaling is a big step in that regard. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, get it done. I'm proud of you. Goodbye for now.